Can you believe it? Just 3 days. Just fishing for tuna can earn him nearly $20,000. Moreover, he also played at home for 39 hours. Such an attractive job, knows you don't believe it. Then keep reading and don't stop. I guarantee that you won't be able to hold back after reading it. The legs galloped away as if they were loaded on a fire wheels. Even 10 cows couldn't hold it. After several days of hard fishing, Zach felt that life was becoming increasingly difficult. Not a single tuna has been caught for many days. The wall in the pocket is getting shriveled day by day. The payment of wages is also in jeopardy. Bobby was also in trouble. The wallet is almost empty. What's worse, he needs at least $1,000 each time he goes out to sea. This made Zach's desire for tuna even stronger. If the situation continues to deteriorate, I'm afraid I will have to give up going fishing at sea. The captain of the Hot Tuna, OTT, gazing at the calm sea surface. There's a lot of worry in the heart. It seems as if the sky is about to fall. The sky was already bright, but the schools of fish had yet to show up. At this moment, the kind-hearted person Nick found OTT shared a newly obtained secret piece of intelligence. In the sea area named 950, there's a large group of tuna lurking. Although OTT had doubts about this information, but given that there was no movement in the surrounding sea areas, he decided to take a risk and have a try. Although this will increase fuel expenses. But for now, there is no other way. On the way, OTT thought of several good friends. It was decided to inform them of this news as well. It is expected that mutual benefit can be achieved in the future. So 4 fishing boats appeared at sea, marched northward in a grand procession. I wonder what their fates will be like. When Nick and the others arrived near the destination, the active seabirds in front of us foretell hope. It was learned that tuna was about to appear nearby. Asked the partners to set the bait immediately, standing on the deck with great anticipation. Wait for the appearance of the tuna. Brandon was even more excited. He kept talking about tuna. Unexpectedly, he actually got what he wanted. With the appearance of tuna, the people on the ship acted quickly. After the captains of other ships learned the news, it is also believed that coming to the north is a wise move. No sooner had Nick arrived than a tuna was hooked. As long as you stay behind, you are sure to catch tuna. Let's take a look at the situation on Nick's side. When folding up the fishing line, I found a float ahead. It seems to be connected to one's own ship's anchor. This puts them in a dilemma. If ignored, the fishing line may break. But if it is forcibly solved, hundreds of dollars will be lost. It can only be handled with great care, just as they were striving to solve the problem. Good news also came from Dave's side. Their fishing rods are bent. Obviously, there is a tuna biting the hook. This situation caught everyone off guard. The fishing line was pulled out by the tuna for dozens of meters. Nevertheless, everyone was still excited. But when he retrieved the fishing line, he felt that the tuna seemed to have run away. The recycling was extremely easy, confirmed by Dave and Sandro. The tuna is indeed nowhere to be seen. The 3 couldn't help feeling that their joy had been in vain. Taylor, who heard this, a sly smile appeared on his face. By contrast, it's good news for Nick. The tuna was pulled to the surface of the sea. Brandon picked up the harpoon resolutely, suddenly plunged into the tuna. After successfully hitting the target, everyone quickly controlled the fish and fixed it with ropes, looking at the tuna drifting slowly behind. The joy in the hearts of the 3 people was beyond words. The scene of going home to celebrate has emerged in my mind, and the grand scene of their fishing catches here. It happened to fall into the sight of Tim and the others. The envy on Otto's face was obvious. Nick pulled the tuna at the stern for a while. This fish has also cooled down. Brandon kept muttering, "Come, come, come," while struggling to drag the tuna onto the boat. Witness this huge fish. The fish was measured to be as long as 104 inches, and tuna is plump in shape. It seems that there will be another considerable income. After returning to the port, start selling this tuna immediately. To be honest, in my opinion, this fish, it can be sold for at least $7,000 or so. After the acquirer removed the core and fishtail meat, cut off the useless parts, this fish ended up weighing only 447 pounds. Next, the quality of the fish meat needs to be inspected. The buyer examined the fish in front of him. It was commented that the fish meat was bright in color and plump in fat. The core part is also quite excellent. Overall, this fish is of superior quality. Willing to acquire at $17 per pound. It brought a profit of $7,599 to 3 people. It seems that my previous estimate was quite accurate. With the arrival of a new day, Zach found a group of dolphins following at the bottom of the boat. This indicates that there might be tuna lurking nearby. Oh dear, this is undoubtedly a good omen. Especially, the detector responded. Zach has just identified the location of the tuna. Then came the sound of the fishing rod biting the hook. Daniel held the pole tightly and began to reel in the wire. According to the feedback from the fishing rod, it seems that this fish lacks strength. The speed of escape was also relatively slow. Notice this situation. Increase the force in your hand resolutely. Recover the fishing line quickly. Before long, the tuna surfaced. See the bright spots on the sea surface. Sean quickly picked up the harpoon, aimed precisely at the fish head. When the body of the tuna emerges from the water, stab it down without hesitation. The tuna was floating feebly on the sea surface. The two felt deceived, however. I can't help but wonder how I could still run away. However, this had no effect at all. In the end, she was still tied up by several people with ropes. They finally caught Tuna again. I originally thought it would continue to suffer losses. I never thought my luck would be so good. Looking at this fat fish. Can't wait to pull it onto the boat. This fish is measured to be as long as 102 inches. It's much bigger than their first fish. Obviously, this will bring rich rewards. Taylor of the windmill. After learning that 2 people had caught fish, I can't help but sigh at my bad luck. He hurriedly found Greg, not far away. I want to find out what's going on his side. However, this was destined to disappoint him. Hasn't there been any progress on Greg's side either? Just as he was showing a look of disappointment, there is something wrong with the detector in front of Taylor. He looked excitedly at the fishing rod on the deck. Meanwhile, the detector on Greg and Bobby's ship. There has also been quite a stir. However, Taylor has already hooked some tuna. It's truly a case of one step faster, one step faster. After Marissa stepped forward and was busy, Taylor began to show off. And just at this moment, the busy Marissa discovered this tuna is a big fish. If this fish can be caught, there is no doubt that one can make another profit. It's just that the waves here are a bit rough. It's a bit inconvenient for Marissa to do the work. As the tuna surfaced, the force in her hand increased again. However, the fishing line often breaks at this time. Look, the tuna has run away. You two must be furious. After nightfall, Zach and others returned to the port. They began to sell the tuna they caught. After the purchaser got this fish, take out the core and fishtail meat immediately. And this fish weighs as much as 525 pounds. It seems that this fish is quite heavy. If the quality of this fish could be compared with that of Nick, perhaps one can earn tens of thousands of dollars. The buyer examined the fish in front of him. I think this fish is quite nice. Oily fish have bright colors. The core part is also quite transparent. It was decided to offer a unit price of $18. Plus the weight of this fish, they earned a total of $9,450. Now Zach can continue to get paid. And Greg, who is still at sea, looking at the school of fish in front of me. 2 people on the deck are holding fishtail hooks. 2 fish were quickly fished out. It is planned to use these fish as bait. The size of this kind of blue fish, it will definitely attract tuna to come. And the size will by no means be small. Sure enough, the blue fish was just thrown into the sea. Then a tuna bit the fish hook. Look at the curved fishing rod. Greg excitedly picked up the walkie-talkie, then began to show off. However, the master angler watched the swaying of the fishing rod. It seems that something is wrong with this fish. It doesn't quite look like bluefin tuna. Wait for the fish to surface. Sure enough, this was not what they expected, but it was a big-eyed tuna. even though it is not the target fish species. But such fish can also sell at a good price. It is even sufficient to cover the cost of this voyage. Tie this fish behind the stern. Several people then waited patiently. I didn't expect to wait again. Another bluefin tuna bit the fishhook. This made the 3 people extremely excited. Quickly pull the caught fish onto the boat, just in case of any accident. After grasping the fishing rod again, feel the feedback on the pole. They are convinced that this is what was expected. It's definitely a bluefin tuna. So he increased the force in his hand. When the tuna surfaced, there is no doubt that it is exactly what they have been dreaming of. After Byron beside recognized the tuna at a glance, quickly grabbed the harpoon and stabbed at the tuna, although the first shot missed. But how could it possibly fail the second time? As the tuna was stabbed by the harpoon, Greg skillfully tied the fixing rope, looking at the tuna drifting at the stern of the boat, well aware that a considerable income is about to come. After towing the tuna onto the boat, it was measured that this fish is as long as 91 inches. Look again at Zach in the distance. He was paid more than $9,000 yesterday, returned to a prosperous life again. Not only was the damaged canopy replaced, fuel was also injected into the starving engine. I just don't know if I can catch any more fish. Can there be gains only at critical moments? At this time, Greg and the others return to the port. Start selling this tuna. The acquirer promptly eliminates the useless parts. The core and fishtail meat were taken out. In the end, this fish weighed only 391 pounds. Next comes the crucial meat quality inspection. The buyer examined the fish before him. It is pointed out that the fat content is not too high, but the core is a beautiful cherry red. Overall, it seems quite good. It's a high-quality tuna. The purchase price is set at $16 per pound. It enabled the 3 people to earn $6,256. And Bobby was almost on the verge of collapse. So many days and so many people can catch fish. Why did I gain nothing alone? Especially when seeing Zach return. It feels as if my sky is about to fall. Someone else made up for the loss with just 1 fish. But one is still struggling in losses, just as he was immersed in sadness. The fishing rod on the deck is slightly bent. Bobby heard the sound of the fishing line coming out. Gene quickly snatched the fishing rod. Start to retract the fishing line that has been pulled away. It's just that he thinks this fish is too small in size. The intensity of the resistance was not strong. Soon he pulled the tuna a few meters closer. It wasn't long before the tuna surfaced. Bobby became more and more excited, afraid that any accident might occur at this moment. Constantly instruct Drew behind to control the ship. However, as soon as the tuna appeared, it suddenly fled towards the deep sea again. Oh, is this fish that fierce? But under the operation of the Ryan brothers, it was still pulled back to the sea surface, although there is still some distance from the side of the ship. But this is not a difficult problem. After several minutes of intense pulling, the tuna was finally towed to the side of the boat. Greg picked up the harpoon quickly, after aiming at the target and thrusting down sharply to successfully hit it. Tie the rope skillfully. Finally, this tuna was caught. If no more fish take the bait, I'm afraid I'm really going to suffer a huge loss. As the tuna was pulled onto the deck, this fish is measured to be 110 inches. It seems that this fish is not small in size. It might still be the biggest one this year. Drew seemed a little small even when sitting on it. After Greg showed off his spoils, set off immediately and returned to the port. An hour later, several people found the acquirer. Bobby's vanity seems rather strong. It even showed off in front of the acquirers. Isn't there something wrong with the brain? People see big fish every day. Remove the useless parts of this one of yours. Only 589 pounds of fish remain comparable. He might have realized this as well. The arrogance on the face gradually subsided. Listen to the evaluation of the acquirer. The fish meat is of excellent quality and has an outstanding core, but the fat content is slightly lower. Only $15 per pound can be given. Nevertheless, it still reached $8,835. After the new day comes, Zach was concerned about the situation of having gained nothing yesterday. Feel a little frustrated. I originally thought my fortune had improved. Going out to sea can easily catch big fish. Unexpectedly, it was still that awkward look. Suddenly, their fishing rods bent, and it happened to be in Daniel's hands. This change excited everyone greatly. I thought I would return empty-handed today as well. Unexpectedly, an unexpected joy came suddenly. However, the fishing line was quickly pulled out. It's still over 100 meters. The people who noticed this situation realized that this fish is astonishingly powerful, unlike the two fish caught earlier, which were weak. This made Daniel even more excited instead. For experienced anglers, this is the real fishing, although I don't know what techniques he used. But witness the tuna emerging on the sea surface, also well aware of the subtleties of its methods. If I could acquire this skill, surely go fishing for tuna at sea every day. Sean quickly picked up the harpoon beside him, stabbed precisely at the fish head, and quickly controlled the tuna beside the ship. Wait until the rope is firmly tied to the tail of the fish. They succeeded in catching a new fish. After the news spread, OTT and Taylor couldn't help smiling wryly. Fishing in the same sea area. Why is it that only I have gained nothing? When Zach dragged the tuna onto the boat, the fish was measured to be 94 inches long. Zach immediately turned the boat around and headed for the dock. Tuna was caught again. It made the three people on the ship overjoyed. I no longer care so much about the weight of tuna. It is only known that it weighs 407 pounds. However, I'm still curious. After all, I'm a bit greedy for money. The buyer examined the fish before him. It is considered to have superior overall quality and bright colors. The transparency of the core part is also just right. The fat content is just right, neither too much nor too little. Willing to acquire at $20 per pound. Zach couldn't stop smiling when he learned about it. I never expected to earn $8,140 today. This is the harvest of two fish. It directly pushed them to the top of the list. However, it is only over $1,000 ahead of his second place. That's all for this episode. Give it a thumbs up, and let's look forward to the next wonderful episode together.